Today I have prepared the beverage of sadness. We all know that Asian beer is bad enough as it is. Some of the microbreweries are doing okay. I thought, I wonder how zero-calorie non-alcoholic Asian beer is. And it turns out, this is the taste of sadness. Whokeys is where I've been getting my Windows keys. This is Windows 10 Pro, the OEM CD key, and one of the things I like about this is you're going to be paying something that's more close to the price of what you would pay if you were a big company like, I don't know, Dell or somebody, and you were buying these in bulk. You're buying the serial numbers in bulk. It's the same product, but when you're doing OEM stuff, they give you a different price, and I don't like that. I'd much rather pay the exact price that all the corporations pay to get it for my own computer. So this is why I recommend going here to get this. We have the home version of Windows. You could get Pro, but I'll show you how to get Pro. I'd recommend that one. And then we also have Office 2019 Professional, and I'll show you the prices on all these. And then we've got Windows 10 Pro plus Professional that you can get into a bundle together. I also want to note that this will upgrade to Windows 11 for free if you're going to do that early. And when you get over to this page, just do the activation code TS30 right now. It'll be TS25. There we go, $13.72. At Office TS30, $42. And I want to note that the 30% off is going to be for the first half of December. The second half of December, you still get 25% off. So use coupon code TS30 right now. If it's later in the month or if it's way later, use coupon code TS25. Once you're finished, if you want to access your key, you click on your name on the top right, click on User Center, and you'll see My Purchase Orders. Right here, you'll be able to view the keys that you've purchased just by clicking on View Keys and Codes. Then you will see your code right here. Just go ahead and copy this code, press Start, type Activate, and you'll see activation settings come up. Click on that. Then click Change Product Key. Right there, you can paste in your code and hit Next, and then you will be activated. It's very simple. So go ahead and get Windows and Office activated and do it at the same price as the wholesalers do it. I need to preface what you're about to watch because I know a lot of people who watch this are going to immediately start feeling this weird feeling deep down inside. I'm going to be bad-mouthing your Elon Musk. And this happened to me as well. And this is something that I think we should be more cognizant of, especially nowadays where a lot of things are very polar, a lot of things are very biased, and people like to have something to rally behind. They like to have a community who agrees with them. So it can really affect the way you think. And I remember back when I was hanging out with more tech people, someone came in a conversation and they said, Elon Musk is a scam artist. He hasn't done anything like he's claimed to do all this stuff and he's done nothing. And I felt this like almost like an emergency feeling where like, no, he wants to go to Mars. He wants to do all these things. He's got all this cool stuff that I wanted to happen. So I was like, I have to like go and specifically search for all the things that he has done. And I started searching and I was like, yeah, he made PayPal and he did all these things and he created Tesla, and like you can Google and find stuff like this. But when you really start to pull back the curtain and look behind it, you'll see that a lot of that is nonsense and a lot of that is hype. It's our responsibility as individuals to let go some of that fanboy nonsense and to start being aware of the feeling that we have inside, that emergency, like, oh no feeling. This is when you're starting to defend cult-like mentality. We see it with politicians, we see it with these tech companies, we see it with billionaires. Whenever you feel that, there's probably something wrong. That is an emergency and you should investigate it. And you should try to investigate it with an open mind. And I want you to be aware that it is okay to change your opinions. If anybody makes fun of you, I will personally punch them. It is good to go from one opinion to another when presented with enough information to allow you to change your mind. That's a good thing. And a lot of people will hold on to this other thing because of pride and that weird feeling you get inside. So let's go ahead and start this video with a website that has a bunch of bullet points of Elon Musk's accomplishments. So let's go through some of this stuff because this is a couple-year-old article. But this is the kind of stuff that I and a lot of other nerds back then would regurgitate to people, to put Elon Musk on this pedestal as if he were the good billionaire. He's the savior billionaire. We need him to save humanity. None of us can do it on our own. So I'm just going to go through this because it's a very typical list that you can see everywhere. And they even got the little cute video here with the fun music and stuff. And the, oh, come on, play. You son of a bitch. If this starts in a second. Anyway, so let's just go through some of these and we'll talk about them. And people in the comments, I especially hope some of the people who really like Elon Musk show up. Also, I want to mention something. This also got me thinking. I was wearing this not long ago, like a couple of weeks ago, this shirt. I was wearing this shirt a couple of weeks ago. That is Nikola Tesla. And someone in the grocery store said, "Hey, who is that on your shirt?" And I said, "Oh, that's Tesla." And they corrected me and said, "You mean Elon Musk?" I didn't reply. I didn't know what to say. I was so dumbfounded. I was like, and I just kind of, because I was just passing by and I was like, no, it's Nikola Tesla. And we're just going to go through these and laugh about him and talk about him and all that sort of thing. When Elon Musk was 9 years old, he read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. Do you see that? Musk was an avid reader. He read 10 hours a day. 10 hours a day. I know a lot of people who are young who also read a lot. I read the entire encyclopedia when I was 8 years old. But I didn't read the Encyclopedia Britannical. Britannical? I read the Funk and Wagnalls. Yes, the far superior Funk and Wagnalls. So Elon, look that up in your Funk and Wagnalls, would you? All right, he taught himself to program in 3 days when he was only 10 years old. This is a list that people would regurgitate to people when you talked about Elon Musk. And just like, and even when he's on Joe Rogan and stuff, they're like, "Man, what a genius you are. You 3 days you learned to program in BASIC." Okay, so BASIC. We learned BASIC, you know, in second or third grade at our school. They taught us how to do that kind of stuff, and we were creating little Zork clones and stuff. But he did make a, he landed his first internship with a cold call. Okay, great. He ran a speakeasy to pay rent. Yes, I am jealous because he's genius. That is correct, Richard. So let's talk about this speakeasy that he ran to pay rent. As a self-funded college student, Musk had come up with inventive ways to earn some income. Did you hear what just happened right there? As a self-funded college student, Musk had to come up with inventive ways to earn income, a problem which he found an ingenious solution to. Do you see what they just did there? They made him sound both humble and poor with the phrase self-funded. College student, right there. And then they make him sound like a genius by saying, you know, a problem which he found an ingenious solution to. And then they turn an illegal activity into a positive activity. They said he rented out a 10-bedroom frat house and turned it into a club. So Elon Musk, I believe it was with his roommate or whatever. What actually happened is Elon Musk they bought a 10-room building and they turned it into a nightclub. And it was an illegal nightclub that they continued to operate regardless of the law. And if this was someone who was not rich or someone who was not well off or someone who had a less hypey track record, you know these same people will be like, wow, criminals. That's criminal activity. Can you believe they ran a criminal nightclub in their college dorm, which also kept the neighbors awake and created terrible environments around it? If it was a black guy, exactly. Put him in jail for running an illegal nightclub. I bet they were doing drugs. Probably were doing ecstasy and all that stuff. It was like that period of time where like E was really big and raving was really big. Every single night they made enough to pay the entire month's rent. They were making a lot of money on this illegal nightclub. Genius, huh? Ingenious. So he sold his first company for $307 million. Okay, this is a double major. We're just going to skip over that. I don't know the truth or if this is true or false, the double major thing. I do know that he claims to have a PhD. He enrolled in Stanford in the PhD course, and he lasted 2 days before he dropped out to form a business, which was, in my opinion, I think probably a smart thing to do. So his first bid is Musk collaborated with his brother and his brother Kimball, to start their own company, Zip2. True. It wasn't long before their startup was sold to a bigger company for a whopping $307 million. So let's break down this and talk about what happened here. So Zip2, we got the little thing right here. Greg Corey ended up being the CEO because Musk could not handle people, and he was a terrible CEO. So Musk was the CTO, I believe, of this company. And what Zip2 did, and this is where Musk made most of his money to go on and let that snowball into bigger and bigger sums of money. how does one guy fund a 10-room building? Well, maybe it was because his dad had an emerald mine. I don't know. Maybe the roommate he lived with had money. But yeah, he wasn't a poor college student. So Zip2, they formed this company. And the idea was to be sort of like an online Yellow Pages. And this was back in the day when that wasn't really much of a thing. And Elon Musk created the software for this. He actually did the code for the software. It was buggy. It was clunky. It did not really work that well. And the other thing they did is they contacted another company who had spent hundreds of millions of dollars already creating an online database, but it didn't have the front end for people to search. It was just a nice big database. They put it together. And Elon, and I believe it was mostly the CEO, Greg Curry, they convinced them to let them use that database for free. And that was the secret that made their entire product valuable, because now they had access to a database that had, like $100 million worth of funding that had already gone into it. And they got it for free so that they could use it for this online database. Now, the code didn't work at all. So what happened is they ended up not Elon Musk, but the other people who worked there, the CEOs and they brought more people on board because the company grew and stuff. They hired a new team of coders. And those coders rewrote 100% of the code for Zip2. So this whole, Elon Musk is a genius. He created all this stuff. He had zero code was left in this when it was purchased. They sold this company to Compaq. Elon Musk was not involved in the sale. That was the higher ups in the company. He was not involved in the sale of this company. So they went to Compaq, and this was before the dot-com crash. Yeah, the code he learned in 3 days, he wrote it in BASIC. It's totally embellished. And I used to believe this. I used to think, oh my God, he wrote all the code. I thought that Elon Musk wrote the entire code for PayPal by himself. That is what I believed. I thought that was true because I didn't do my own research. I listened to other people on the internet tell me that Elon Musk created PayPal from scratch. And we're going to get to PayPal next because that's the next chapter. So anyway, they sold this company to Compaq for $305 million because Compaq thought, oh my God, online, they saw the database, they saw that it worked, they saw that it was such a big Yellow Pages for the internet, and Compaq's like, of course, they lost hundreds of millions of dollars, but they paid $305 million, of which Elon Musk's share, since he was one of the founders of the company, was $22 million. So he wasn't that big of a shareholder. You'd think if he did all this himself, and he's like the hero, that he would have acquired, at least half of that $305 million windfall. But no, he got $22 million. And I think Kimball got $15 million. So that is what happened with Zip2. Remember, Elon Musk's code was completely removed. And there are stories from the other people who were developing on the project. They brought in the real coders to work on this project. They said that Elon Musk was incredibly difficult to work with. And he was very mad at them because they refused to work all night because Elon Musk, at this point in time, quote unquote, lived in the office. It was, like his baby. He may be a workaholic. He may stay up all night working. That's a thing. This Elon Musk rant is because I've been arguing with some other nerds online who think that he's some kind of god. And people still defend him every time I mention him. And also, I used to think that Elon Musk was some sort of hero type character. And then I spoke to my father recently, and he saw a documentary on PBS that essentially made him out to be the savior of humanity. And I was like, oh no, we need to get into this because we need to stop worshiping billionaires. But I see that most everyone in the comments here is intelligent. So I don't know if there's any drugs involved this time or not. So anyway, Zip2 sold. He made a ton of money. What's next on this list here of his 25 greatest achievements? You ready for this? I gotta get in on this one. He co-founded PayPal. PayPal was the result of a merger between Musk's startup X.com and Confinity. Whew, there's a lot to unpack right here because this is what I used to think. This is one of the biggest things. I thought he got so rich because he invented online banking. This is so far from the truth. So I got some notes over here. Let's get into my notes. See, I got these sloppy notes right here. This is what I've got. I went through this yesterday, when I was going through this, what the hell? You know, I might even throw these notes, even though there's misspellings and stuff. All right, so X.com. So they brought on Harris Fricker, Edward Ho, and Christopher Fain were all involved in the start of this, blah, blah, blah. The other thing that's really interesting is if you look up X.com, these people right here, these people who were involved in starting X.com, yep, good old Fricker, they were all involved in starting X.com. They have been removed from the Wikipedia article on the English version of the website. If you go and look at the Spanish version, they're still there, but they have been removed from the Wikipedia article. So they tried to oust Elon Musk, and then they all left the company. They just left. They couldn't handle it anymore. Yeah. Then there was another company entirely, another company called Confinity. And that was mainly Peter Thiel, but you can see the other guys here who were involved. So Peter Thiel created a company called Confinity. And they were doing online banking just like X.com. They're like what Elon Musk wanted to do with X.com. So he was watching them, and they started copying their advertising, and they were losing money. Like they were like, okay, we'll give away free stuff to get people to join, and that was their thing. They saw that Confinity was doing that, and they're like, we've got to do the same thing. So they started giving away free stuff, and this was not called PayPal. It was called Confinity, and Confinity saw X.com that was copying their marketing stuff, and they said, this little company over here, this X.com, they're annoying. Buy them. And so that's what happened. Peter Thiel and Confinity, they purchased X.com, which made Elon Musk a minority board leader. And during this period of time, something happened, and Elon Musk ended up becoming the CEO of this company, but it was still called Confinity. And he argued so much to change the name because they all wanted to call the company PayPal. And they wanted the product to be called PayPal because it is a pal that helps you pay things. It is not X.com, a porn site. But Elon Musk has this thing for the letter X, space X. This is my baby X. Have you met, what is Ash? But his name is like X, whatever, AE. What is his kid's name? Where do I have that somewhere? There it is, right? He's got a thing for the letter X. I don't know. Maybe he's got some kind of syndrome that just makes him want to use the word X. I need to rant on Jeff Bezos next. Maybe. Coming next. We'll tear him down too. So he wanted X.com, but nobody else wanted X.com. And they even got together those groups that you pay people. And you're like, hey, tell us what X.com sounds like to you. And everybody was like, X.com, that's a porn site. It's a porn site. And they were like, okay, so you want us to have the first big online bank and you want to call it X.com so that everyone thinks porn when they hear it. Great, genius idea. So Elon Musk gets married and he's on a plane to Hawaii. And while he's on that plane, everyone got together in an emergency meeting and they removed him as CEO and they didn't make the name PayPal yet. They removed him as CEO because no one could handle him. He lands in Hawaii on his honeymoon, finds out about this, forgets his entire honeymoon, jumps on the next flight back to California so he can yell and scream about this stuff. So he's straight back to Palo Alto. They fight and fight and fight. Peter Thiel leaves the company, and then when all this shit goes down, he rushes back to the company and he becomes the CEO. They fire Elon Musk. Elon Musk is fired from Confinity. Then they change the name of the company to PayPal. And then they sell it to eBay for some hundreds of billions of dollars. And even though Elon Musk was fired, he did have stock in the company. So that stock netted him a big windfall, 100 million, a couple hundred million, I forget what it was. Yeah, they sold for a lot. 1.8 billion was the purchase, and he got 180 million. Peter Thiel and his team and Confinity did all the work. Elon Musk wrote none of the code that went into PayPal. His main achievement there was arguing that PayPal should be X.com. That was what he did. There it is. He founded SpaceX. Okay, he did that. We're going to move on from there. He created the Musk Foundation. He did that as well. There's some interesting articles here about the Musk Foundation. I'm not going to go too far down this rabbit hole. If you look at what the Musk Foundation does, they do donate to charities, but a lot of it is this interesting way that a lot of very rich people donate, where what they do is they create these, I forgot what they're called, and it's probably on here somewhere, but this is how the rich people do it. They donate to essentially like a holding company, and the whole idea is that the holding company, it counts as a donation but you don't have to give that money to any charity. You don't have to do it anytime, soon. Like there's no rule on, it's called a foundation, but there's like an actual word for this type of foundation. And it's somewhere in here, like that they use. I don't know where it is. Anyway, it's some kind of a foundation. It's just to dodge taxes, and you put a whole bunch of money into this foundation. And what you're doing is basically promising to give that money to some charity sometime in the future, maybe, but you never say how, when, and none of that stuff is tracked by the IRS. You could give that money could be donated to your friend who has a house just as big as you. That money, it's completely off the books at that point. It's almost like washing your money. And the rich people can do this all day long. So that's where most of the money from the Musk Foundation goes. The great majority of it goes to that. They do put money into education and healthcare, and that's very cool. But I also want to remind everybody that Musk did last year promise to donate half of his wealth to charity. And that's completely like gone. But guess what? Everyone in the news reported over and over again about how he's going to donate all of his wealth and half of his wealth to charity. I don't see anybody reporting like, hey, Elon Musk didn't actually donate half of his. Yeah, it's basically money laundering, Richard. Yep, that's pretty much what it is. But I haven't seen anybody talk about, what actually happened. All right, so he became, let's get back to the list here. He became the CEO of Tesla. I also thought he started Tesla a few years ago when I was an idiot tech dude. So Musk initially joined Tesla's board of directors as its chairman in 2004. Being one of its lead investors, he assumed his role as CEO in 2007. So you already see the weird thing here going on with Tesla. He comes in as the chairman, and he's also the CEO. That is a terrible idea. Being the chairman and the CEO, that is a recipe for disaster in any company. And even the psychopath billionaires would tell you, oh yeah, the chairman and CEO, huge red flag. His vision, his vision to build electric cars and make a way for a more sustainable future also made him the lead product architect of the company. Lead product architect, chairman, CEO, his vision to build electric cars. This is the kind of stuff that was all over. Oh God, we got to break this down. Okay, where's my notes here? So Tesla was created by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. These two were the people who created the first ebook reader, and they sold that to TV Guide for $180 million, and they used that money to create Tesla. These are legit inventors. They make things. They created the Tesla. They designed the Roadster. They did. Not Elon Musk. He was not the one who designed the Roadster. He's someone who takes the work of others and puts his sticker on it. They needed money when they were working on this, and he invested a lot of money in Tesla, but his stipulation was that he's going to invest this much money, he gets to be the chairman of the board. Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning did not know what they were getting themselves into. China thinks it's okay. We're going to get to China as well in a second. This goes deep. So they did not know what they were getting themselves into. He came in and he started making all kinds of crazy demands. I think Martin Eberhard was in charge at that point in time. They both saw the writing on the wall and got the hell out of there, even though, the company makes a lot of money now, but they couldn't work with Musk, so they both left the company. But before they did, they kept trying, I believe it was, I forgot if it was Martin Eberhard or Mark Tarpenning, but I think it was Martin Eberhard. Musk kept trying to fire him. He came into the production, and they were not making their cars out of carbon fiber, but Musk said that the cars must be made out of carbon fiber, which made the price go way up, and it made the cars were not profitable. And then he blamed Eberhard for the cost overruns, even though it was him who said that the cars have to be carbon fiber. But Martin Eberhard wouldn't leave the company. So finally, Martin Eberhard was pushed out of the company by Musk. But when he did, Musk signed a contract deal in fat ink that said that the first Tesla Roadster that comes off the assembly line will be delivered to Mark Eberhard. So Eberhard's severance package was denied after he left, because he stuck around even though Mark Tarpenning left. Mark Tarpenning didn't fight back that hard. But Elon Musk doesn't like it when you fight back. Most billionaires don't. So he gave him a severance package, but then denied to fulfill it. And then the first vehicle came off the line. And guess who it went to? Did it go to Eberhard? No. It went to Elon Musk. Elon Musk took the first car, even though he signed a contract saying that it was going to go to the original creator of the Tesla Roadster. Okay, so Elon Musk gets the first car. Maybe, you know what, maybe Eberhardt's going to get the second car. No, the second car rolls off the assembly line at Tesla, and guess who that goes to? Elon Musk sold it to one of his friends. Sold it. This billionaire, well, I'm not sure if he was a billionaire yet, but this soon-to-be billionaire sold the second car instead of giving it to Eberhardt, whom he'd promised it to. Even if you hate the guy, you signed a contract. And that, like, what kind of an asshole? Like, that's beyond me. Like, even if I don't like somebody, if I signed a contract, I'm going to fulfill it just to get them out of my hair. But he doesn't do that. So the third car off the line, they used it for some testing and ended up totaling it. So they totaled the third car off the line. They then rebuilt that third car and sent it to Eberhardt. And it did not have the upgrades that he was guaranteed. And so he got a rebuilt, crashed Roadster. That's what Eberhardt got. Eberhardt kept pressing. And remember all those news headlines that were like, hey, check out how cool this is. Elon Musk shot a Tesla into outer space. How amazing is this? This is going to be so cool. You know, like aliens are going to be cruising the galaxy and they're going to look over and be like, whoa, look at that Roadster. That thing is awesome. Yeah, that's Eberhardt's Roadster. Because when Eberhardt kept pressuring Elon Musk to give him the first car, Musk is like, you know what, fuck you, and shot it into outer space, which was, I think it cost about $70 million to launch I forgot if it was the Falcon Heavy or the Falcon 9, but Falcon 9 costs minimum about $50 million to launch. Regardless, the minimum cost it took to launch that stupid thing into outer space was $50 million. So instead of giving the car to Martin Eberhardt, he launches it into space. I can't believe I never realized what kind of an asshole he was until I sort of took a step back and looked at everything. That's what you really have to do with a lot of this stuff. All right, yep, just a billionaire asshole. Typical. This video is also brought to you by some music that I make. And you can get it and listen to it. This is the latest album, Primeval. It's sort of an homage to old school DOS and SNES RPGs. Used a lot of instruments that were from that era, like MIDI and some sound fonts and stuff. Hope you enjoy it. And now back to our regularly scheduled program after you listen to a little more. All right, you ready for next? He revolutionized the electric car industry. You know what? Tesla makes a fine car. They make a good car. It's safe. It's one of the safest cars on the road. It's good reviews. Works. You know, the DNA is from patents that are far from long ago. The patents were from Tesla. This is like, and he always makes a big deal out of like, we'll let anybody use our engine technology. Well, you better let people use your fucking engine technology. It was not invented by you. It was invented by Tesla, and these are open patents. Anybody can use an electric motor. It's just a typical electric motor that's like 100 years old. That's what it is. They put it all together, made a great car, but their factories, unfortunately, are the least safe factories in America. So while they make a really safe car, he doesn't give a shit about his employees, which is a huge sign. If you see like someone who doesn't care about their employees, that's like easy sign of like scumbag. Let's see if it says, and do I have anything about that here? I forgot if I brought that up. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, his factories are the least safe factories. They have worse safety records than slaughterhouses. So yeah, that's the other thing. Is just like you said here, whenever you see people worshiping stuff so much, it's time to like look into things. That's a huge red flag when people worship people like that. So Amazon factories Amazon warehouses are terrible, but Elon Musk factories have a terrible track record. So while they make a good car, you know, I'll give them that. It's a good car. So they don't sell that many of them. I think it was about 400,000 last year. And we'll get to that as well, like talking about that. They sold around 400 to 500,000 cars, somewhere in that range last year. This year they're on track to sell over 500,000 cars. But when you look at a company like GM, who's got the value that's like 1/15 of what the value of Tesla is, they sell 7.7 million cars. Something doesn't really add up there. Anyway, let's get back to this ridiculous list. So he landed a $1 billion contract with NASA. All you have to do to get a $1 billion contract with NASA is to be a billionaire and do a little lobbying. But in my opinion, I believe that $1.6 billion would have been way better spent if it went straight to NASA. And it breaks my heart every day that we see the public sector piggy bank robbed so that they can give money to the likes of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. It is the worst. But if you look at like a lot of the big innovations that have created the world we live in, I'm talking about like sewer systems and like just systems for trash delivery and stuff like that. Those are some of the basics. That's all public sector stuff. And then if you want to go farther, we can talk about computer systems. The internet was completely developed outside of the realm of capitalism. That's public sector. And then NASA has a huge list of innovations and technologies that they've created. Also DARPA. I mean, war is a pretty big driver of innovation, but that's public sector as well. And then the other thing is like GPS technology. That was not created by the private sector. That was also public. So I wish this money went to NASA instead. Like if a billionaire starting a space company is not going to get handouts from the government. And handouts from the government are suddenly a good thing. He debuted the Model S. Okay, great. He launched the Falcon 9 rocket. So the Falcon 9 rockets are what they're going to be using for their internet technology to deliver all of the satellites to space for what's it called? The Starlink. We'll talk about Starlink in just a second. The internet was invented by Al Gore. We all know. Hydrogen would probably be better than batteries. Yes, it would probably be cleaner as well because the exhaust and everything is just water. Whereas when you have when you have electricity, you still have to generate the electricity in a power plant somewhere. So there's going to be something going on with hydrogen. If we had hydrogen vehicles, and yes, they are viable. There have been hydrogen prototypes. They are viable. We need to get the cost down for creating them and stuff like that. But don't let any idiot tell you they're not viable. We could totally have hydrogen-powered vehicles, and the exhaust is water. So anyway, what's next on the list here? He joined the Giving Pledge. Okay, great. It's another one of those foundations where Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and all these guys can get together and essentially not pay any taxes because they're putting money into a fund that they say is going to be for something good. I don't trust any of it. All right, this one's funny. He set the Hyperloop into motion. So you can't just show up and say, hey, I want to do bullet trains, right? Because bullet trains, that's already a thing. You know, and he has to be sensational because most of the hype that goes into his companies that makes him all the money is just that. It's hype. Excuse me, this fake beer. It's hype and sensation and stuff like that. It's all a lot of nonsense. So he has to go and find a technology that's he would look to the past again. The technology for the Hyperloop is a couple hundred years old, to create a vacuum tube and suck it out. And I thought this was going to be really interesting. And another thing that I was so excited about, you know, because I want trains, man. And if we got Hyperloop and it's super fast trains, when you listen to this and you see a lot of the videos when the Hyperloop was announced and people were like really big on talking about it, it was like Elon Musk is going to make the Hyperloop. It's going to be this really cool vacuum sealed thing. You can even park your car inside of it, and it takes off and it goes like thousands of miles an hour, and you can get from like New York to like Los Angeles in a matter of like an hour. Like, holy shit, that's amazing. That's way faster and better than having to go to the airport and all that stuff. And you look at this and it's like, I want that. And then on top of that, they're like, we're going to put solar panels all across the top of these tubes. And it's actually going to make more power than it consumes. It sounds amazing. And then guess what? We made a video in Tech Syndicate talking about how cool it was, and all these other tech YouTubers made videos about how amazing and genius this was, and finally, America is going to get high-speed travel, high-speed something like a train, but it doesn't, you know, a bullet train, we'll just skip that. Elon Musk is our savior. He's come with his beautiful Hyperloop technology, and then guess what? Los Angeles and California, the government signed a contract. We're going to build a Hyperloop between LA and Los Angeles and California. LA needs to be connected to California. Los Angeles and San Francisco. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And guess what? He hyped that stuff. Stock prices went up. He also hinted at the idea of a New York to LA Hyperloop. He talked about these things. So I've even heard underwater Hyperloops, possibly between London and New York. But the one that was like the government signed a contract, I thought it was real. We're going to do this. Turns out the government didn't sign shit. There was no contract saying that anybody was going to be building a high-speed anything between LA and San Francisco. That did not exist. He just hyped it up and said, this is what we're doing. He just make this shit up and then says, I have done this. Look what I have done. I have created this. Now, several years later, nobody talks about it anymore. You know why? Because it's been a complete failure. They never achieved anywhere close to the speeds that they said they were going to achieve in all their testing. And I remember seeing it and being like, we hit a speed of almost 100 miles an hour. I'm like, okay, so you built a little test loop out in the middle of the desert and threw a bunch of money at it so you could get some headlines, and you made them go 100 miles an hour. And like, this pod can hold 2 people, and it went 100 miles an hour. And you're like, well, that's not what we thought. I thought it was going to replace trains that can hold hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. And, you know, it's not even a third the speed of a bullet train, and they have all over China. Why can't we have nice things too, please? So, and then no one talks about it anymore. You don't see it in the press. It's gone. No one talks about it anymore because it was just another piece of hype to get people to put money into his companies and mostly invest in Tesla, because that's where his network comes from, the hyperinflated stock price that is the Tesla stock price. What's next on the list? Now, we're not going to talk about OpenAI much because not much is going on with it. I don't know what's going on with it. He acquired Solar City. This is another classic Elon Musk scheme. Initially, Musk invested $10 million in Solar City back in 2006, and soon enough, Solar City became the largest installer of solar panels in the US. God, we got to break that down. That is garbage. Solar City, I was so excited for this too. I was like, oh my God. So what's the whole scheme with Solar City was Elon Musk is like, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come to your house and we're going to install solar paneling for free. And then you can lease them from us. You just pay us monthly for the solar panels. And we'll do it for you. We believe that everyone should be green and everyone should have solar paneling. So we're going to send people to your house for free. You're not going to pay a dime. We'll put them on your roof. So that was option 1. Option 2, and that was like a lease to own thing. You actually pay per month. You don't have to pay anything out of pocket. And then the second option was, okay, we're going to put the solar paneling on your roof, but we will own it. Solar City will own this. And then what will happen is you will pay us like you're our power company. So any power that's generated from your roof, you pay us. We keep a meter, we read that. Anything that goes back into the system, we'll take that into account. But you pay us for the power. Essentially, like, we're your power company, but you get to feel good about yourself and pat yourself on the back for keeping the planet safe because you're doing solar energy instead of coal or nuclear or whatever. What really pissed me off about Musk when they fell a forest in Germany to build a Tesla factory. Yeah, that's exactly it. He didn't want people to talk about the fact that they fell an entire forest in Germany to build their factory. He doesn't want, we shouldn't be talking about that. That's secret, So let's talk about what happened with Solar City. Great idea on paper. I wanted that. I was like, yeah, I put solar panels on my place. That's amazing. I want solar panels. However, this is exactly what Musk does. He says amazing things and then pushes stuff that's way too good to be true. They never, ever turned a profit with Solar City because it turns out the cost of the paneling and the cost of the labor to install it was way too much. They could not make that back from the people who were renting the equipment or paying for the equipment, especially when you take into account that this stuff, sometimes it goes bad. You have to send out technicians, and they didn't make any money. So in 2016, here's the second half of this. They were in debt, $2.6 billion. So of course, they've got the largest installer because it's too good to be true. Everyone wants it. Yes, of course. Put it on my roof for free. Amazing. Yes, of course. $2.6 billion in debt. Now, after closely collaborating with the Tesla company, the company bought off Solar City and made it a subsidiary. This is listed as an accomplishment. And this is horseshit. This is ridiculous. What happened was the company was $2.6 billion in the hole. And Musk saw this and it was going to be a fiasco. And so Musk took money from Tesla, from the Tesla stock, and put that into another company, which is a huge no-no. And guess what? Class action lawsuit. I'm not sure if they decided or not, but it started in June of this year. Yep, drove one company in the ground that he bought for $10 million, and then took money from his hyperinflated stock price, and the stockholders of Tesla are suing him because this is not an okay practice. You can't do that. You can't just take money from one of your other companies and pay off debt of the other one. That's not how things work. And this is not an accomplishment. This is the way a con man covers his ass, so there's not a ton of articles out there saying like, oh, Elon Musk's Solar City company failed because it was all hype. All right, next up, he founded the Boring Company. The Boring Company only generated income selling hats that said the Boring Company because some reason weird nerds really want a hat that says the Boring Company so they can show up with their friends and be like, yo, dude, check it out. Boring Company. That's such a good name. Yeah, bro. And then they drink microbrew because they're at least a little sophisticated, I guess. I don't know if I was ever that kind of tech bro, but I feel weird about it. So the Boring Company, they drilled their whole idea. At first it sounded great because I was like, okay, we got traffic problems. Like Los Angeles, what a mess. Freaking big deal traffic problems. We need ways to save that. And if it's not going to be with trains, maybe underground tunnels is a good idea. You just have this company that drills up underground tunnels. And then you see the actual idea of what it's going to be. And you know, I thought it was going to be like underground highways. Yeah, imagine subways. God, don't make me cry. America and Canada don't have good infrastructure. Why? So you see the actual schematic, and it's like, okay, so cars are going to line up and get on this like elevator thing, and the car sits on top and it goes down, and then instead of letting you drive underground, the sled that your car is sitting on is ferried around town to your next stop. And it's like, okay, so now we gotta have a gazillion sleds. We gotta have a line of cars going down there because how fast are these? Like, I mean, imagine just driving off an exit ramp into a, like when you're in Boston and you just get out of the airport and you're driving through that stupid underground thing that makes traffic a little better in the city. You just drive on, you take the exit, you go. With this one, imagine how much longer it takes to get on put your car on an elevator and then go down, and then the sled goes forward. Anyway, they've drilled so far 1.7 miles underground in Los Angeles. This is another thing that's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid when you sit back and look at it. But it's another thing, and I thought, oh, this is cool. He made more money selling hats and flamethrowers than he has with anything else when it comes to the Boring Company. And he really wanted this company called the Boring Company because that's the kind of nerd he is. I mean, what else has he done? Debuted the Powerwall. I don't know much about the Powerwall, but it seems pretty cool. Neuralink, do we need even to talk about? I mean, like I said, the Powerwall is cool to have a battery in your house hooked up to your stuff. I think that's all right. I mean, I don't know if it's caught on fire or anything, but whatever. America's fetish for cars needs to stop. Yes, yes, yes. God, I could do a whole special about how ridiculous I think it is that in America, the capitalism has decided, and our politicians have decided, and our corporations through our politicians have decided that every single person must have a car. That is so ridiculous. Anyway, from a city planning standpoint, that's the dumbest shit ever. Like, I want the buildings right on the edge of the curb. I don't want parking lots. I want parking lots in the back. And I want public transit to get to my little downtown area so I can hang out and have a safe, walkable space. Yeah, I could rant on that for a whole episode. I really enjoy city planning. It's nice. But there's not a lot of it going on in America. Have you seen suburbs? My God. Suburbs and lawns. Oh, God. All right, he co-founded Neuralink. Do we need to talk about how Neuralink is, it's all hype, right? I mean, he wants a brain interface so we can, like, connect and then, like, go into a... Does any of that stuff sound like anything but science fiction? It sounded really cool. Yeah, we could plug a jack in. We're in the Matrix, man. So anyway, Neuralink, moving on. He is to the Big Falcon rocket. Yay, the Big Falcon rocket. It's had like a couple of trips to outer space. Great. Oh, what an accomplishment. He was named one of the world's most powerful people. One of the world's most inflated people. He launched Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai. One of Elon Musk's latest achievements is Tesla's Gigafactory 3 based in Shanghai, China, which was able to set up in record time. It only took 168 days and it's up and running. The Chinese are very quick and efficient. And here's the deal. He had to get in bed with China to make this happen. Elon Musk. That's underrated. Wow. Crap, you must be new here. Or incredibly stupid. So he's not getting good press in China. The other competing cars are getting better press. Maybe they're better cars, I don't know. But there is competition for the Tesla. So yeah, let's see what else. Is that what we got? Yeah, that's all advertisements and shit. Let's talk about the Starlink or whatever, right? So the other thing that's a big deal is, and I thought this was really cool, but he talked about saving the internet because there's a lot of places in the world that don't have internet. Not so much anymore. A lot of people now have 4G and 5G and they have their mobile devices, but let's talk about Starlink. The idea of solving the problem when it comes to satellite internet. And the problem with satellite internet is latency. You can get satellite internet that's 100 megabits per second for $30 a month, but your latency, your ping is going to be like 100 plus, which is not a big deal for streaming video, for browsing the internet. It just takes another, tenth of a second to start things going. But it is a big deal when it comes to gaming. So any gamers that live in the middle of Montana that don't have either Comcast or municipal broadband or access to 4G, 5G, just keep watching, Frank, if you think Starlink is going to happen, because Starlink is absolutely not going to happen. I'm about to explain why. Elon Musk's solution was, okay, right now we've got like HughesNet, and I forgot what the other brand is. Let me see if I can find my notes. Here they are. I found them. Oh, they're on this. How did I put them on this page? All right, so where is it? All right, Starlink. It's all hype. It's all freaking hype. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, there we go. So, yeah, you can get 100 megabits a second with 3 satellites. But Elon Musk said we must put the satellites much closer to the Earth. So let's do the math here. I got it broken down over here. Here's the math of Starlink and why this will never happen. Starlink will never happen. It is hype to drive up the stock price. It is bullshit. So the dish that you get for Starlink, your satellite dish for your home, it costs you $500. You spend one-time fee, $500. But those things cost $2,000 to make and they cannot be repaired. You have to completely destroy them if you want to open them up and fix them, even the cord going to it. Yes, just keep watching. Stop saying it's untrue because I'm about to tell you what's up. Like, listen to me. I'm about to tell you what to believe. So here's the way it works. They're losing $1,500 on every single unit. So if they get 500,000 subscribers, which is what they say they need, they're going to lose $750 million bucks. Now, in orbit, you need 42,000 satellites. The satellites cost $500,000 each, but they have an aspirational cost of $250,000 each satellite. 42,000 times 500,000, but they hope to be able to get the price down in the future to $250,000 per satellite times 42,000. In order to get them into orbit, you have to take the Falcon 9 rocket. It costs $55 million to launch the Falcon 9 rocket. It can carry 60 satellites. So 60 of the $500,000 satellites has to be launched per Falcon 9, which costs $55 million. You have to launch the Falcon 9 700 times. That's $38.5 billion to launch your constellation of 42,000 satellites. Now we have 42,000 more pieces of space debris because guess how long the satellites last? They last 5 years. That's it. These satellites, they last 5 years. Yeah, with improvement? Like what? Show me what in Elon Musk's track record ever shows that we're going to have any improvement. Solar City? No. None. Look at the hyperlink. It's all hype. Stop buying into this bullshit. If he said he can do it, he will do it. It's hype and bullshit. So, above and beyond that, 3% of the rockets that have been launched up there, like right now they're doing tests in, I think, Seattle and San Francisco and California, that area. They're doing tests with some of these rockets, or the satellites. 3% of them has failed, which means 1,260 are going to fail every single year, which is another $1.5 billion in upkeep. Not to mention they also have to have a huge staff to work on these things. So we're probably going to have a ton of salaries, probably cost at least $2 billion a year. And this is only going to be good for areas that don't have broadband internet because the maximum downloads that has been seen is around 100 megabits a second. It's I thought it was going to be gigabit because they all talked about, hey, we're going to they even said like, oh, gigabit, yay, gigabit. So no, it's not going to be gigabit. And the more people that use it, the more saturated it gets, the slower it gets. So if everybody in a city decides to use Starlink, well, they're going to have to pony up the $500 initially. Are you going to want to do that? Or are you going to just, like, if you're living in a city, and I mean, it's going to make more sense to even connect to the evil empire of Comcast than it is, because it's going to be cheaper and way faster than connecting to Starlink. It's ground infrastructure is superior to satellite. I don't care if it's Elon Musk magic satellites. I don't care. It's all hype. He said that Starlink is going to make billions of dollars, and it's going to provide the money so that he can be the king of fucking Mars. That's all he wants. He wants his own planet. He showed up in the cryptocurrency space and had massive temper tantrums because cryptocurrency, for the most part, is decentralized, and he couldn't be the king of something that's decentralized, so we got to watch him have public tantrums because he has to be the center of attention because he's a megalo-fucking-maniac, you idiots who think he's still some kind of god, me included a few years ago. To compare this with other satellites, if you live in the middle of nowhere, you can get Visat for $30 a month, 100 megabits a second. They're able to provide that with 3 satellites. 3. You can't play games very well. 3 satellites. Most people don't live in the middle of nowhere. You also have 4 and 5G that is far more efficient and faster, and it's available all over the place, including the middle of nowhere Africa, for the most part. We have a lot of things orbiting around our planet. Let me just, where's my button? There. So the Kessler Syndrome is something that is going to happen. We've already started, where we have debris moving around the atmosphere. And, you know, like, there's a lot of room up there, but the more debris you have, the more chances you have for collisions. And things in orbit are not built the same way things on the ground are. They're built to be light. We've got some cult members showing up finally. AI plus Neuralink plus Starlink. That will never happen. What have they done so far? You want them to drill a hole in your head and implant something, implant a chip into your head. This is some sci-fi nonsense. We are not at that stage yet. It would be cool if we were at some sort of transhuman stage, but show me the proof. I mean, we ain't got no pudding. I ain't putting no pudding in my mouth. All we have is a megalomaniac narcissist on stage hyping bullshit. Show me what he's done. Okay, he did Tesla. Great, somebody else created everything about that company. He had nothing to do with the creation of the first Teslas. Nothing. And guess what? He has 900 or so employees. I believe it's maybe more than that. Let's see how many people are in SpaceX. Like, how many employees are in SpaceX? There we go. Look, this is SpaceX. He takes credit for so much of the stuff he did. He talks about how he does a lot of the rocket science himself. No. Look at this. 183,000 workers were employed by the U.S. space workforce, and a lot of them work here. Like, these are the people who do the work, who do not get the credit. These are the geniuses who create the stuff. He puts money into it and takes credit for it because he needs to be the center of attention. Did he create the spaceship, or did he put money into this company and create the spaceship? Have you looked at the people who have left the company, who have talked about the working conditions there, who have talked about the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about and they have to essentially do their jobs despite the fact that there is a grown baby having tantrums? Look further into things. Stop just listening to Elon Musk and regurgitating what he said. It's creepy. It's freaking creepy. Anyway, where was I? So Starlink, if Starlink were to be what it actually was, there's no way that they could ever afford, like, the numbers do not lie. If you look at the numbers, there we are. If you look at these numbers, they would lose billions per year on these stupid satellites that would not be as efficient as what Visat can do for $30 a month. It's insanity. And then the Kessler Syndrome, that's what we were on. We were on the Kessler Syndrome. Let me open up that page again. When you have too many objects floating around in space, 2 objects collide, they make at least 4 objects because they break off into pieces. But they probably make likely more than that. And then eventually we have so many objects floating around that space debris is always colliding, and it gets to a point where we can't launch a rocket. It's no longer safe. So we are stuck on this Earth because, we have too many things floating around in the atmosphere. And he wants to put 42,000 rockets, or 42,000 satellites into orbit. And those 42,000 satellites would quadruple the number of debris that we already have up there. And every 5 years, he wants to replace them with 42,000 more, and he doesn't think it's going to be a big deal. Do you understand what that would do to the entire world's space community? Do you understand what that would do to, well, also to the ability to observe the outer space? The satellites are going to get in the way. And astronomers have already said, hey, if we put Starlink satellites all over the place, it's going to get in the way and interfere with our surveillance of outer space. It's going to get in the way. These things are going to cross. They're going to mess with our equipment. It's going to be bad. We do not need 42,000 satellites every 5 years and then 42,000 more 5 years later. It's hype. This cannot happen. If it does happen, it'll be just like Solar City. It'll lose billions of dollars, and then Elon Musk will be tempted to bail it out with his enormously inflated Tesla stock, which we are going to talk about right now. Tesla stock is the biggest stock bubble I have ever heard of. It is a ridiculously huge bubble. The company is not worth anywhere near that price. It is 100% hype. It is a Ponzi scheme. And here is the first clue. The Tesla stock pays no dividend. On their website, it almost cockily says, cockily, is that even a word? It almost, thank you very much for that subscription, person whose name I cannot read. About living on Mars, and you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just going to keep reading your stuff like that. Shut up. Like, shut up. Let's get into this Tesla stock. Back to that. Pays no dividend. On their website, like, very cockily says, we will never pay a dividend. A stock that doesn't pay a dividend is a Ponzi scheme. It is all hype. That means that there is no actual value. So when you can look up dividends on your own, but Tesla states on their website will never pay a dividend. A lot of crypto does pay dividends. You can stake crypto, you can mine crypto, so that's a totally different thing. Totally different thing. Not even like comparable. The only thing that's comparable is it's similar in the sense that cryptocurrency can generate wealth by just owning it. You can just own it and it'll generate wealth. So yes, of course, cryptocurrency can do that. And most cryptocurrencies are set up so that you can either mine or stake. So shut up. God, people. Why so many stupid people? Let's talk about Elon Musk and all the annoying dweebs show up to defend him. GM's market cap is $77 billion, and they made 7.1 million cars last year. Tesla's market cap is $793.6 billion, and they made fewer than 500,000 vehicles last year. GM sells 7.1 million vehicles, and I believe they pay about a 2.9% dividend. Their stock is more realistic. GM's market cap is about $10,000 per car they sell. So that's not a normal statistic. No one says like, hey, GM, what's your market cap is going to be how much of your car? But just for reference, the market cap of GM, if you divide it out, it's about $10,000 per car, which is still pretty high. That's pretty high for the automotive industry. So let's look at something. If Tesla was valued at a per car basis like GM was valued, Elon Musk would be worth $2.7 billion. Elon Musk should be worth $2.7 billion, which is plenty of money. But right now, Tesla's market cap is $1.6 million per vehicle they've sold. That's the value of the company. They sell these vehicles between $30,000 and a couple $100,000. But the value of the stock is as if they were selling their vehicles for like $2 million each. Tesla's market cap is $1.6 million per car that they sell. That is absurd. But wait, Tesla turned a profit this year. Shut up, you. Tesla turned a profit this year. Yes. You know how Tesla made a profit this year? Two ways. He made a lot of money from government money. They made about $300 and something million, but they had a $300 million credit. So they're getting money from the government. He gets so much money from the government, hundreds of millions. And then Tesla invested in Bitcoin, and their profits from holding Bitcoin on the books are $1 billion. They finally turned a profit because they have Bitcoin. Tesla would be a much leaner and much more profitable company if they stopped making cars with the, oops, wrong button. If they stopped making cars and just had a big pile of Bitcoin and just sat there and reaped the benefits of holding cryptocurrency. They would be better off. Are you getting what I'm saying here? The reason Tesla made a profit is because they bought Bitcoin. Ooh. Elon Musk started, accepting Bitcoin on for Teslas. Nobody used Bitcoin to buy a Tesla because people want to hold their Bitcoin and they want to spend their cash because cash is inflationary garbage. So they want to put that into their cars and they want to hold their Bitcoins as a hedge against inflation. So nobody used it, but then Elon Musk, he wanted to be the CEO of Bitcoin and act like he was the daddy Satoshi Nakamoto, and since nobody liked it, well, he stopped accepting Bitcoin for Tesla, had a huge tantrum on the internet, and guess what? Did not sell the Bitcoin, because that, you'd have to be very, very, very stupid to sell your Bitcoin. You can go online and have a tantrum and talk about how much he hates Bitcoin and how mad he is about Bitcoin not being his little project. He can't just have it. So he goes online, has a tantrum, but when it comes to actually doing something, actually selling the Bitcoin, he didn't actually sell it because he knows that's where his money is going to come from. So let's talk about something else. And this is the way rich people make their money. They make their money by taking loans. Now, everyone talks about how rich people do not pay taxes. Here's how that works. It's very simple. Elon Musk hypes the shit out of Tesla stock. It goes to the moon, right? He's got more money than God, more money than Bezos. He shouldn't have more money than Bezos. He shouldn't have more money than anybody, really. Any other big billionaires. So he's hyped the stock up. And then you go to banks and say, look, I am worth $190 billion or whatever the hell it is. I don't have a favorite rich guy. Fuck them all. Anybody who's got $1 billion, put them under a guillotine right now. All billionaires are corrupt garbage. You have to be a piece of shit to be a billionaire. There is no way that you can be a billionaire and be benevolent. If you're a billionaire, you're garbage. There is no such thing as a decent rich person. None. It's impossible. Okay. Why am I so angry about Elon that you prepare notes, research, and make a show about him? Maybe it's because idiots who will not shut up about how this person is the technological savior of the universe. Like, people need to shut the fuck up about Elon Musk. He's garbage. And I want his stock to crash. And I want to sit back and eat popcorn and watch people cry about their Tesla stock while it crashes to the value it should be. Put her name on perfume. Yeah, let's look into, want me to dig into Rihanna? We'll find some bad stuff. Anyway, no, there's no middle ground. Billionaires are not your friends. In order to become a billionaire, you have to be either a sociopath, a narcissist, or some sort of a massive exploiter, or a snake oil salesman like Elon Musk. And he does most of those things. We're not talking about this right now, Shrizty. We're not talking about what's wrong with being rich. I can make an entire separate episode on that. I'm not a crypto investor who's salty about Elon Musk crashing the market. No, that's... God, you bunch fucking idiots. God. Sorry, Frank. It's like, no. No, the point is I'm calling him out. That doesn't mean anything about me. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not just mad. George Soros, fuck him. God. People think because I don't like right-wing billionaires that I'm cool with left-wing billionaires. No, put him under the guillotine too. God, I shouldn't have streamed this. There's too many people in here. So, his stock is not worth what it is. Not even close. So here's the way they stay rich, and here's how they don't pay taxes. Shut up and listen. They go to the bank and they say, look, I've got $100 and something billion in Tesla stock. Give me a loan for $5 billion. And then they live off that. Now, under the US law, a loan is not seen as income. A loan is totally cool. So as long as you don't sell your stock, you don't have to pay taxes on it because you haven't realized any income there. It's just you own that stuff, but you haven't made money on it yet. So you just got the stock, right? You got all that stuff. You're paying property taxes and whatever else. You're paying some little taxes here and there. Stupid poor people. Wow, dude. Wow. You think just because someone's poor makes them stupid? That is garbage. Wow. Wow. That whole mentality of like, dumb people deserve to be poor because they're stupid. Wow. You know, the thing that that means the most when it comes to wealth is the zip code that you're born in. That's one of the most important things. And then the generational wealth from your family. You're born into a rich family, you're born in a rich area code, you are like 90% more likely to remain or stay wealthy. And it has nothing to do with IQ. So, anyway, so you go into the bank and you get this huge loan to live off of. And you continue to pay off these loans with other loans that you get. So you can essentially live off of these massive loans that you pay very low interest on because you're super wealthy. And you don't have to pay any taxes on these loans, even though it's actual money that you have and you get to spend. And then as your stock price inflates more and more, you go get a bigger loan and you pay off the old loan with that new loan, and it just keeps going until it crashes. You're building a giant, it's like a self-Ponzi scheme. You end up building this. Stop adding me. Like, I can see your shit. Stop using @MidnightDojo. I'm right fucking here. I can see your shit. Jesus Christ. I can see your shred, Steve. Dude. What's up, Falcon? How you doing? Oh, God. So, yeah, you basically use one credit card to pay off another, but here's the deal. If Tesla stock is valued at what the market should value it at, Elon Musk would only be worth 2.6 billion. But if he's worth 2.6 billion, he can't pay off the billions in loans that he has. He'll be screwed. And I want to watch that. I want to sit back with popcorn and watch him kick and scream. That'll be hilarious. Because it's all going to come due at some point. You know what I mean? Like these bubbles have to pop eventually. And you think it's going to go on forever, but it's not. He's not going to be the richest person in the world forever. So, oh God. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Yeah, the rich, they believe in debt. They call it good debt. They actually call it good debt, and they call debt that you can like use to like save yourself from taxes, or debt that you can use to accrue more wealth. That's good debt. Debt that's not making you money and you're actually paying interest on, that's bad debt. So they have two different things, like good debt and bad debt. For reference, I used to work for a billionaire. So I've been around these scenes quite a bit and seen how things work. I've been in big bank meetings and listened to people talk and yell back and forth. It's pretty funny. So yeah, the bank's going to get burned too. This is fun eugenics. So, do you think there's something interesting that he wants on Mars, like hair? Yeah, he could go to Mars to get Mars. I'll take some of that hair too. Like that'd be great. Go to Mars and get me some hair. Why are we talking about hair still? You did it. You made me talk about hair. You son of a bitch. That's the end of the video. I'm gonna put that on YouTube tomorrow with all my frustrations with people who came in to defend this asshole. But yeah. So I do think it's cool, a cool idea to go to Mars. I think it'd be a cool idea to go to Venus. And I think it'd also be cool to make this planet more habitable, but we do need to be a multiplanetary species if we plan on living, you know, forever and not having another big reset button hit when the next asteroid hits or something, because that's something that nobody talks about. And, you know, around every 10, 15, 20,000 years, an asteroid hits that's big enough to basically hit the reset button on civilization. You know, look at the end of the Younger Dryas. We had a nice big collision somewhere up near Greenland, and that was a big enough collision to change the climate. It would have, if we had a civilization that was just like ours now, it would be wiped. Etch-a-sketch into the world, just shaken up and gone. Okay, why don't you become a billionaire? If you can't beat them, join them. You know, if I was an asshole, I probably could just like become a billionaire. I'm big. I've got to, you know, I put my chest forward, walk into a room and start barking orders at people. I've been around. I know some people. I could shake some hands, but I don't know if I'd ever become a billionaire. But I just, you have to be pretty much evil. You have to take advantage of people in ways that I'm just not willing to do. And I'm not saying that just because I'm jealous of these billionaires and stuff. The people that I've had the most fun with my entire life are the people who are typically dirt poor and have a really rough life. I do not enjoy hanging out in a room, and I've done so with people that are like a few $1,000s. You know, it's like one of those dinners you go to that's like a few $1,000s a head to get into. I've been to those. I used to live on Wall Street. I've been through a lot of this stuff. I've seen this stuff. I always consider myself the riffraff when I lived on Wall Street, but You know, and I'm not saying like I'm cool or anything. I wasn't getting paid that much or stuff. I knew a lot of people, and I worked in the entertainment industry. And working in the entertainment industry, a lot of times you get brought along to things because you're adjacent to money, even though you're not money. I sound like Karl Marx. Karl Marx is pretty cool. You know, I don't agree with everything. I don't think his world, the world that Karl Marx envisioned would be the correct one, but it'd probably be a better route than what we're going right now with rampant late stage capitalism. I don't know. It's like people come out and they say something that you want to be true, and so you decide to just love them, even though it's too good to be true and it's bullshit, and you don't want to do the research, and you don't want to find out that Starlink is going to lose billions and billions of dollars and put hundreds of thousands of pieces of extra space debris in. If Starlink became a thing, we would not even be able to NASA couldn't launch a rocket. Russia, China, nobody could launch a rocket because there would be too much space debris. It would lock us onto our planet. That is a real and imminent danger. Yeah. Flight on. Cheers. Thanks very much. So I'm going to go cook now. I got some pork jowl that I'm going to fricassee. It'll be delicious. Worthy of a billionaire. God, we got to stop worshiping billionaires. I didn't say I liked or didn't like. I think there were only a handful of actual entries for the draw. He did those because multiple people thought Apple invented, well, something else did. And Apple just tweaked it, adding some garlic and cilantro. Exactly, Mindstab. That's kind of the way it is with a lot of the companies and stuff like that. They take bits and pieces from other companies. I mean, like even Tesla in the first place, it drew on the original electric motor patent from 100 years ago. And it was invented by, I'm sorry, that wasn't even, the funny thing about Tesla is it wasn't even, the ingredients weren't even put together by Elon Musk. It was Eberhard and, what's his name, Turpening? Yeah. The other two guys put it together. Elon Musk just invested in it from the money that he made by being involved in the company that would become PayPal despite him. So, yeah, that was a fun video from back in the day. But back then, when I made that Apple video, I believed that Elon Musk created Tesla. I believed that Elon Musk wrote all the code for PayPal. I believed that. That's what I thought. When you go online and like, let me see here. I'm just curious right now. Who created Tesla? Does it say who? Like say if I just search for who created Tesla, the other guys come up, but look, Tesla founders right there. Like that's what comes up. And then you have like, who's the real founder? And look at that. Who's the real founder of Tesla? The first thing, people who do research, they just click on this and they look and it says, oh, Elon Musk. Are the other guys mentioned right here? You know? Like Tesla Inc. founder, Elon Musk. You know, look, like, no. Eberhard and Tarpenning. They created Tesla. Elon Musk invested like somewhere between, I forget if it was 12 or 20 billion. But this is what I was going through the other day, and I was trying to look these things up. What's another company? Let's see who created. Let's see. This one might be. Let's see if we can get a real answer here. Did the code for PayPal? Who did the code for PayPal? All by himself? He didn't do any of it. Elon Musk wrote tons of code while working at Zip2, according to the book Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the Quest for the Fantastic Future. Whew, what a title of a book. I mean, his ideas are so good. I want this fantastic future. But he knows these ideas are good. He knows people want this utopia. He knows that everyone wants that, and he uses that to inflate the price of his stock. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I don't think there's a middle ground for billionaires. I really don't. And I would totally be a Sith if I could take down billionaires. Like I have yet to see a billionaire who did not make their money on the backs of others. The whole idea of the self-made billionaire, okay, so they, like Elon Musk's journey from being the son of an emerald mine owner who was politically active in South Africa, who had yachts. You know, that also, when they were in their company wasn't doing so well, and their parents brought in people to help run the company. Like their first company that they sold to Compaq for like $300 million, Elon Musk's parents introduced them to someone who became the CEO of the company. Well, cheers! I'm leaving right now. We both streamed at the same time. I had to stream. I didn't want to stream today because I saw you were streaming, but I had to because I need to get this video done. So, hi. How was, yeah, I'm leaving right now. If you want to stream a few more levels of Halo, yeah. Yeah, who are we raiding? I don't know. Who's streaming? Anybody streaming? Stream more levels and I'll re-raid you. So that's the way you can do it. You can come here and just collect all the people here and then go watch you play Halo. Stream a couple more levels. Come on. We'll raid you right back. Thanks, everybody, for showing up and hanging out. Oh, God. I'm making notes of everyone who showed up to say hi. You're all awesome. Yeah, I really didn't want to stream right now because you were streaming Pistol. Swap viewers back and forth. That's exactly what we're going to do. People are into that. We'll be on some fetish website later for viewer swapping and sneezing. I sneeze all the time, and I've never shown up on a fetish website, and I feel upset, like I've been robbed. Like, I want to be on a... No one cares about me sneezing. I want people to rub themselves raw to me sneezing. Raw. Calloused. My sneezings are hard enough, but I put my whole head into it. Like, achoo! Oh, it's so... What a sneeze. And then I touch my face. And they don't want that. Maybe they want big, tough, manly sneezes, and I do, like, little prissy man sneezes. Maybe that's why. I like, achoo. Why am I still here? I was supposed to be cooking.